Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's International Guinness Book of World Records Day, Tony. You hold any records?
I'm Tony Kornheiser, just one. Most back tattoos of Dick Van Dyke. That's me.
Goodness.
I got those.
Goodness.
Was that
Dick Van Dyke,
was that the greatest show?
98 years old.
Yeah. Almost 99. The Dick Van Dyke Show is one of the greatest
One of
shows
the
ever.
greatest.
We
Of all
can
time.
both sing the theme music now. The instrumental
time.
theme music. We can do that. You know,
Yes.
nobody
Laura
under 40
Petty.
can do that. We can do that.
In love with Laura
Welcome
Petty.
to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Wemby goes for 50. Dion could push certain NFL teams away from his son. And Booger McFarland joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with tonight's Thursday night game in Philadelphia. A battle for first place in the NFC East between 7-3 Washington and the 7-2 Eagles. This is the first time since 1996 that these teams played each other where both teams were at least 4 games over 500. Wilbon, what aspect of this game are you most interested in?
Tony, I'm interested in the aspect it's not even kosher to talk about anymore. But you and I were at a game, and it goes back beyond 1996. It goes back to 1990. And the game, Buddy Ryan and Joe Gibbs were the head coaches at the time. And it was so violent. You know where I'm going with this. They talked about the game openly as the body bag game. Football can't even acknowledge that anymore. It is a safer game. They want it to be that. They want it to be perceived as a lot safer than it actually is. But the Eagles and the then Redskins played a game in which, I don't know, nearly double-digit Washington players were escorted or limped off the field or taken from the field. And the Eagles and Washington used to play these games. The violence in them was so incredible that you would go and it was like the gladiators, you know, it was like that, like ancient Rome. That's not what it is anymore. But, Tony, I can't watch the teams in those uniforms or whatever's close to them. And I love the Eagles when they go back to the Kelly Green. And I conjured that up. I don't know about you, but that comes to mind right away from me more than anything current.
Well, the little fact that stuck out to me was it's the first time since 1996 that both teams play each other and they're 4 games over 500.
Yeah.
That's because since 1996, the Washington team stinks. If you ask me what I'm looking forward to in this, I'm sure it's the same as you. I want to see if Jaden Daniels, what he does on a big stage. I mean, his numbers were down against Pittsburgh, you know, and Philadelphia has a defense comparable to Pittsburgh's. And there is this nagging historical fact that, you know, Cliff Kingsbury's offenses tend to wane in the second half of the season. Look, Mike, Washington has played 2 very big games this year. If they had won these games, you would say that is a really good team. That was the Baltimore game and the Pittsburgh game. Good, close games. The Baltimore game was a 7-point game. The Pittsburgh game was a 1-point game. Washington lost them both. I expect that to happen tonight. And even with that, I think the progress Washington has made is amazing. The only other thing I want to say is I turn on the television every morning and somebody on this network is saying that Nick Sirianni is destroying the Eagles. You know what his record is since he got there? Is 41-19. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs every single year. Get off this guy.
Super Bowl, right? Didn't win it.
Get off this guy. I know he got there. Get off him.
Better him than the Jets and Cowboys. We had several big numbers in last night's NBA. Victor Wembanyama dropped 50 on the Wizards at home to win. Giannis topped that, had 59 in an OT victory over the Pistons. 39-year-old LeBron topped his own oldness with his 3rd straight triple-double. He's done it again as the Lakers topped the Grizzlies. And, oh, yeah, the Cavaliers are now 13-0 after beating the Sixers in Philly. Which, Tony, is the biggest headline to you?
Well, as a newspaper sports reporter, I would tell you that the biggest headline is the Cavaliers going 13-0. Because they are only the 6th team ever in the NBA to start that way. Now, they're not a sexy team. They're not the Lakers, not the Celtics, not the Mavericks, not the Knicks. But that's a terrific achievement. A ton of people have gone 50 and over. A sizable amount of people have gone 59 and up. And LeBron getting 3 straight triple-doubles. You know, Russell Westbrook went 5 straight years, every single game was a triple-double. The eye candy here, Mike, is Wembanyama going 50 and having 8 threes. He is going to be a great player, and everybody understands that. Maybe he'll even make the playoffs. But now I'm going to sound like an old man because Don't give me these facts that he's the fourth youngest guy ever
Yeah, I don't
to go
wanna hear
50.
that.
Don't tell me he's the
care about
tallest
that.
guy ever. Don't tell me he's the youngest center ever. Because do you know, and I know you know, how many times Will Chamberlain went over 50? 118 times.
How about that?
118. And the only reason why Will Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't get to 50 younger than Wembanyama is because they weren't allowed
were
in the
in
league.
college.
You
They
had to
weren't
wait
allowed
for your
yet.
college. You had to wait for your college class to graduate. That's the only reason there. So factoids like that in a vacuum are nonsense. And in terms of being the tallest guy ever, there's only 15 guys 7'4" and above. Come on. I mean, just appreciate what he did, but don't put these labels on it.
You sound like me. You're upset now because
Yeah.
you turn on SportsCenter and there's 4 people saying he's the 19th guy under 24 to have 9, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. And shut up.
Right.
Shut up. Now.
Right, it's hocus pocus junk. That's what it is.
I want to disagree with you, but last night in live time, I'm watching all this stuff, and I've watched LeBron. And let me just say this, Tony. LeBron and Steph Curry, I can't get enough. I want to see them. They can't go on forever, but it seems like they can right now in real time. And LeBron is playing with an energy that's just amazing. He and Steph Curry. And it's probably now it's goodwill. Remember how Bird and Magic at first it was very, fractured, and they were not enemies, but they were not friends. They were bitter rivals. And then the older they got, it got to be a sweet rivalry. And they would look across the country and they would know what each other did. I wonder if Steph and LeBron could just look up down the coast and appreciate what the other guy is doing. So I'm going to go with LeBron last night, even though Wembanyama. Wow.
Okay, I will say of LeBron, he is aging better than any great player ever.
Ever.
He is.
Ever.
He's aging.
Yes,
he is.
no doubt.
Let's talk about Deion Sanders, Mike. It's always a fun thing to do. Deion was asked on Fox Sports 1 if he would intervene if he felt the wrong team was going to draft his quarterback son, Shador. Deion said he would do it privately. The big thing to him was the infrastructure of the team and the support it would give to Shador. Deion said he wanted an organization that understands what it's doing. Well, but if Deion were to intervene in this way, would that be okay by you?
Of course. I'm a father. I would intervene. It wouldn't mean anything because I don't have Deion's stature. But anybody who's a father, who has a child playing sports, let me not say anybody, let me say 90%. And let me say any dad that I would respect, you would do anything for your kid. You might lie about it. You might soft pedal it. You might do it behind closed doors. You might whisper it like some kind of ventriloquist to somebody else to say it. But you're going to do what you can do for your child, period. And anybody who doesn't understand that, to me, is not even a parent. So, yes, it'd be okay with me and then some.
Yeah. Those are my notes as well, that you and I are fathers of boys, and we know a little bit about sports, and we would do exactly what Deion is saying he's going to do, as did Jack Elway for John, as did Archie Manning for Eli. Yes, absolutely. Because you want your kid to go to a good organization, not, for example, Cleveland, not, for example, Carolina. But there's a subtext here that we also want to talk about as well. Because who would know best how to create an infrastructure that would help Shador? The old man, Coach Prime, would know best. Maybe, Mike, maybe this is Deion's way of saying, I'm available if you need me. And wouldn't that be something? You draft the kid, you sign the old man to coach. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, but Tone, I think by Deion doing it this way, he just put people on notice. He just issued the warning. He doesn't really have to now be any more hands-on. I think it's a very sophisticated way. Deion knows exactly what he's doing to sort of massage, if not outright manipulate. But of course, fathers have been doing this for forever, and it's going to go on for forevermore. Yeah.
Yeah, you really wonder. You wonder what Deion really thinks of teams. What does he really think of Dallas and Jerry Jones? What does he really think? Let's take a break. Coming up, Josh Allen says Sunday's matchup against the Chiefs is just a Week 11 game to his team. We will ask Booger McFarland whether that's truthful.
We'll also ask him why Lamar Jackson has struggled against the Steelers.
New York Giants need a quarterback. I wonder what Deion thinks of the New York Giants organization, or the Jets, or Tennessee, or the Raiders. They need quarterbacks,
Knows
right?
people.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by
In a story we broke at the top of the show, Week 11 of the NFL kicks off tonight, so it's a perfect time to welcome back our great friend, ESPN, NFL, and college football analyst, Booger McFarland, wearing a shirt from Sabonic today out on Long Island. Let's start with a question that I'm sort of skeptical of. Maybe you are too. Some big games on the weekend schedule in the NFL. The highlight may be Kansas City, an underdog in this game at Buffalo. Josh Allen says it's just a Week 11 game to his team. Do you believe that?
I don't even think Josh Allen believes that. But listen, everybody knows it's a big game because if the Chiefs win, they effectively have a 3-game lead on the Bills. But here's what Josh Allen has to do as a leader. He can't put any more emphasis on this game because what you don't want, if you happen to lose this game, you don't want a huge letdown on Monday like your season is over. So the way we do it as football players, you approach every game as the next game, but the people that are in that locker room, they understand what happened against the Kansas City Chiefs with 13 seconds left. They understand that if you want to get to ultimately where they want to go, they're going to have to beat this team. And although this is not do or die, this is the Chiefs versus the Bills. This is Allen versus Mahomes. Nobody needs to say anything. There's an old saying where I come from, Mike and Tony, what's already known doesn't need to be said. We already know what's at stake.
I like that. I like that saying, Booger. All right, a game I care even more about is Ravens at Steelers. Lamar Jackson said he doesn't know why he has struggled against the Steelers. I'm betting you know why, though, so please tell us.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a couple reasons, Mike. So the people that struggle against Lamar Jackson don't understand how to play him. You play man-to-man coverage on the back end and you blitz him, and once he gets by you, then he can run all over the field. Where the Steelers don't do that. Most of the time what they do is they understand how to rush him with T.J. Watt and Highsmith and Hayward up front. And if they do pressure him, they're going to do it with zone pressure. What does that mean? They're going to try to speed him up while on the back end, they want to keep all the eyes on Lamar Jackson. So Mike Tomlin understands that Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. His legs are a weapon, and I can't allow the thing that he does best, which is run and create and be elusive, to beat me. So how do you do that? You keep as many eyes on him as you can by playing zone defense while at the same time trying to speed him up by coming with some of those fire zones and those zone pressures. That's why the Steelers have had so much success against him.
All right, just the weekend, as you know, is loaded with really attractive games. Commanders and Eagles tonight. The last time we saw the Commanders, defensive tackle Johnny Newton was drawn offside, suckered, as we might say, where I grew up, on a critical 4th and 1. We had Jeff Saturday's perspective on this as an offensive lineman about luring people offside. Booger, we want to get yours from a defensive tackle on how you stay away from getting lured in a critical spot.
And so here's the first thing you got to know. You got to understand the situation. Anytime an offense is backed up, meaning they're on their own 1-yard line, they're going to go hard count. Anytime you get a situation where the Steelers and Commanders were, you know the likelihood of a conservative coach like Mike Tomlin, they're not going to snap the football. So you got to get out of your stance, and you have to make sure, don't put all your weight forward. There's a way to get in your stance and look like you're in your stance without ever giving the illusion that you're coming off. And I would tell Johnny simply this: hey, don't lean forward, put your weight on your heels. That way, if you have the nerve to kind of lean forward, you're not going to jump off sides. But he's a rookie. Mike Tomlin baited the rookie in. Hey, as a rookie, you're thinking, I get a chance to make the game-winning play. Mike Tomlin understands that. He knew who he was going against. That's a veteran coach taking advantage of a rookie player. Johnny Newton will never do that again the rest of his career because that'll stick with him. It's a lesson hard learned against the Steelers.
Booger, we will get you out of here on this. I cannot get Wilbon to engage on the college football playoff rankings now that there are 12 teams. I am so geeked up for this. I love this show. Wilbon thinks it's totally fraudulent. I love everything about it. How you're involved in it every week, talking about it. How are you experiencing these rankings?
Well, Mike, I'm going to break it down like this. There was a point in time when I grew up, we didn't have a microwave. So when my mother bought chocolate chip cookies, you just had to eat the cold cookie and keep eating and keep eating. But when I got a microwave and I put that cookie in the microwave, Mike, it changed things. It changed my life. You talk about a warm chocolate chip cookie, change your life. So let's look at the playoff, Mike. here's a playoff that's gone from 4 teams to 12 teams, and it's kind of hard to get into it. But let's use that cookie, Mike. Just take the 14 playoff and put it in the microwave, and when you warm it up, it's going to be 12. It's going to be better. It's going to be something that you've never seen before, and it'll make you feel things about the game of football that even I thought I couldn't feel, because I was against the 12-team playoff. In all seriousness, guys, it's going to bring more teams in it. I don't think the week-to-week rankings are going to be the highs and lows, but when we get to that final rankings on that first Sunday in December and we get a bracket a la NBA style, a la March Madness style, and you get a team, let's say, for instance, next year, Mike, Northwestern is really good. Can you imagine a playoff game on Northwestern campus? Can you imagine that, Mike? That's what you got to get into, Will Bond.
All right, you put it that way, I got to reconsider. I got to reconsider, Booger, considering we're 29.5-point underdog to Ohio State Saturday. But I'll get with the program, I promise you.
Thank you, Booger, as always.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Anytime, fellas. Have a good one.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, a legendary skier is coming out of retirement.
And Tony's Knicks. They took one in the teeth from the Bulls. You didn't have that one, did you? I don't believe you had that.
Wait, hold it. You didn't have it. I asked you about it at the end of the show. You didn't have it. I wasn't asked about it.
And you know what?
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Crown Royal. Follow the Crown Royal rig all season long and kick off with Crown. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 31st birthday, Francisco Lindor. The Mets shortstop was right in the middle of things when the Mets began their surprising push up the standings and into the playoffs. In the postseason, Lindor had a couple of dramatic home runs. He finished the year batting .273 with 33 home runs, 91 RBI, 29 steals, and 107 runs scored. He was so prominent in the Mets' surge that someone on this show suggested Lindor should be the National League MVP ahead of Shohei Ohtani. Excuse me, mostly because Lindor played the field and all Ohtani did was DH. Will Bond, are you still taking that position?
Tony, the position officially was it's okay to have that discussion. And I wouldn't mind having that discussion, and I might consider it. And as great as Ohtani is, he played half the game. Lindor played the whole game. They say defense wins championships. Hell, he's a great defensive player. I mean, you can have that discussion. Yeah, I'll keep taking that position.
Happy anniversary to Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll. On this day 15 years ago, the two celebrated coaches played the What's Your Deal game. After Harbaugh unsuccessfully went for two late in the game in Stanford's shocking 55-21 blowout of USC, Carroll asked Harbaugh, "What's your deal?" To which Harbaugh replied, "What's your deal?" Carroll won a national championship at USC and a Super Bowl at Seattle. Harbaugh made the Super Bowl with the 49ers and won a national championship at Michigan just last year. And now he's got the Chargers in turnaround. Carroll announced last summer he's going back to USC to teach an unspecified class. Maybe the class is called What Lincoln Riley is Doing Wrong and I Did Right.
All right, let's say you could sign up for a class with either one of those two gentlemen as professor. Whose class would you opt for? Pete Carroll's or Jim Harbaugh's?
Probably Harbaugh's, because I think it would be funnier. Probably. I'm just guessing. Happy trails to retirement for Lindsey Vonn. The 3-time Olympic medalist and 4-time world champ is coming back to compete for the United States ski team. Vonn is 40. Last skied a competitive event in February of 2019. She suffered broken arms and legs, torn knee ligaments, concussions. In fact, just this past April, she had a partial knee replacement. But consider this. The next Olympics are in 2026 at a course in Italy where she holds a record 12 victories.
I realize there's going to be like a 7-year gap between like the last of those injuries and getting back out there and knowing you're a champion and you can do this again. And I admire her for doing this. But man, that's a lot of broken stuff she's had to get past, to get over. I'm just saying.
We've covered Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics and everything.
And we've
craziest
seen
people in the world, downhill skiers, craziest people in the world. Let's go to the big finish. The Rays will play their 2025 home games at the Yankees Spring Training Ballpark in Tampa. Is that a good fit?
Sure, it's the biggest spring training site in Florida. It'll be big enough for their crowds. It's a fine fit. Vikings rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy recently had a procedure on his already surgically repaired knee. Cause for more concern?
I'm a doctor of humane letters. I'm not a doctor of orthopedic surgery. Maybe it will help. I don't know. The Winnipeg Jets try to get to 16-1 tonight. Do you like their chances?
No, they're going down at Tampa Bay tonight. More importantly, my Bulls skunked your Knicks last night at the world's most famous arena. Eat that.
Yeah, no, I understand you can say that. You're probably right. How's the Bears offense? Last one, U.S. men's soccer at Jamaica tonight.
How's the Jets offense? How's that? How's the Jets offense? How they doing? First non-friendly for Pochettino. I guess it's fairly important. Knicks wiped out a 22-point deficit and still lost to my Bulls. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Bears offense always makes me laugh. We're out of time. Try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the podcast on the app and Apple Podcasts and now. And I always root. I root.
Good luck to Northwestern, by the way, against Ohio State.
I got guys in the Knicks I root for. I'm just saying.
Bonus topic?
We'll get to that. First, let's go on a fast break. Bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, which was more impressive, LeBron's third straight triple-double or Victor Wembanyama scoring 50 points?
Tony, this is hard. And last night, I watched a lot of both of these. I did watch more LeBron, to be honest, though. The promise of Victor Wembanyama is amazing. And, we've talked about this. You and I started talking about this in September. We pulled Brian Windhorst, among others, in. And I just think he could be one of the 5 best players in the league by the All-Star break, Victor Wembanyama. He's amazingly young and amazingly great now. But LeBron, to be playing this way, Tony, to be excelling in all these major ways, you don't have to water it down with phony 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Rebounding, assisting, and scoring. He is dominating people less than half his age. It is amazing what LeBron is doing. I don't know that it's sustainable for him and Anthony Davis because they played 90% of the games last year and they were still like 7th or whatever they were. But I'm going to go with LeBron. It's just a wow that he's playing like this every single night.
So this is a story about being young and being old. This is about the extremes on the corners. I'm old. I'm going to identify with old. I think LeBron James is aging better than any basketball player of all time. Now, granted, not everybody stayed that long. They got out of the game. He wanted to stay so he could play with his son. But he's aging better than anyone ever has, in the same way that Tom Brady aged better than any quarterback of all time. What Victor Wembanyama did, getting 50, that's great. He's going to be a great player. But you and I are old, and we both know this. Wilt Chamberlain went over 50 points 118 times. And the only reason he didn't do it younger than Victor Wembanyama is because he wasn't allowed to play in the NBA until his college class graduated, or he would have had more than 118 because he would have had 4 more years to do it. So as impressive as the 50 is, like you, I lean towards LeBron James at this advanced age being that good. Yeah.
And Tony, just to underscore the point about Wembanyama, who again, people, we know is great already, going to be all-time great, likely. Wilt played a year with the Harlem Globetrotters. So you give Wilt 3 more professional years, which is 240 games, and he only played all of them. Out of 240 games at that age of his life, Wilt would probably have 50 more 50-point games. So don't give me your modern metrics and your analytics. Don't want to hear it. That's it.
Get off both of our lawns. Get off.
Back to you. Get out now.